Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about 10 really easy, really convenient, eco-friendly swaps that you can do to help make the world a better place. The first incredibly convenient, eco-friendly swap that you could do is to swap to a sustainable energy provider. Now this isn't a sponsored video, but we are with a sustainable energy provider called Bulb, and if you sign up using our link, then we get £50 and you get £50. And this isn't some sort of like YouTube influencer thing. If you then get your friends and family to sign up to Bulb using your link, then you'll get £50 and they'll get £50. And essentially we'll all live in a world where we have sustainable energy and everyone has £50. As we're getting towards the time of year where things are getting chillier, the heating's coming on, electric blankets are coming on, this is the time of year to really be thinking about where your energy comes from and if it could be coming from a better source. It takes 2 minutes to switch, so you literally go onto the website, you fill in your details, then they do all of the work.
Bulb supply 100% renewable energy, and there's a really nice statistic here, which is every year the average Bulb member saves 1.3 tons of carbon dioxide from entering the atmosphere, which is the same as planting 655 trees. They were eSwitch Best Value for Money winner 2018, and you can see on this graph here just how much cheaper than other energy providers they are. They also pay your exit fees when you switch to them, so they're all in all pretty good. I like them. They've got an app and they're involved in lots of charity work such as Trees for Cities. They're just all an all-around wholesome company, which you really don't expect from an energy provider.
So it takes 2 minutes of your time, you get £50, and then you get to sleep well in your heated home, knowing that your energy is coming from a sustainable source. I mean, it's win-win-win. The second super convenient, eco-friendly switch that you could make is to start using cloth face pads instead of using wet wipes and cotton wool. Now, I've had these for quite a long time now, and I wear eyeliner every single day, so they are slightly discolored, but bearing in mind that I've had these for well over 2 years, I would say. They're not doing badly at all. I bought these off Amazon, but you don't need to buy them. You can just cut up an old towel or an old flannel and make them yourself. You don't even have to sew them if you don't want. The idea is that anything that is marketed as disposable, be wary of, because if things are intended to be disposable, especially if they're plastic, it's not, it hasn't been thought through fully, because yes, you can dispose of it from your life, but it's not going to be disposed of from the earth. It's going to be going somewhere else and causing havoc further down the line. And there are always alternatives for these things. I also have some stats about wet wipes and cotton wool actually. First of all, wet wipes contain alcohol, which dries out your skin, so they're not even particularly good for your skin, though that's one of the marketing points of it. And also wet wipes are made out of polyester, which is a plastic, so they don't even biodegrade. And if you're using cotton wool, then unless you're using 100% organic cotton wool, there are going to be pesticides that are used on that cotton, which you don't want wiping on your face. Also, the non-organic cotton farming industry is one of the biggest causes of pollution in the world and uses nearly 1/4 of insecticides and 10% of pesticides. And the toxic chemicals involved in its production just causes so much destruction for wildlife and rivers and even the people who actually work there. So I use these little pads and then I pop them in this bag when I'm done, and then I just put this in the washing machine, and yeah. The next incredibly easy swap you can make is, instead of having plastic bottles, carry around a metal bottle. So I watched a podcast where there was a doctor talking about BPA leakage, and it was really scary, and I don't want that for my body. You essentially bypass the problem with a nice metal bottle. They just look so much nicer. Look at this. Look how beautiful this is. Oh. This one is from One Green Bottle, and I haven't had any problems with it. It's a little bit scratched because I accidentally dropped it down some rocks, which I wouldn't advise you to do if you want to keep yours not scratched. Also, something I read when researching this video is that legally in the UK, if you are in a licensed premises, you can request tap water. Only in licensed premises though, so if they're not selling alcohol, then they're not legally obliged to fulfill your tap water request. You're always going to be within a stone's throw of some tap water, which is good, unless you're in Northern Ireland. I read this. It's not a legal requirement in Northern Ireland. I'm sorry guys, but That's just what the article I read said. The next swap you could make is to go for a menstrual cup or reusable panty liners. Essentially, as I said before, if something is disposable, there's going to be a non-disposable option that is going to be preferable in terms of the environment. And I know menstrual cups aren't everyone's menstrual cup of tea. Hey, oh dear. It took a while. It took a few cycles. But now I find it a lot easier just having one thing to worry about. So I think if you are hesitant or you have tried and it's not gone well, try some more. Try some more. It's not the easiest thing to get used to, but once you are used to it, that's the rest of your life used to it, if you know what I mean. But if you tried and they just aren't for you at all, which I totally get, then there are reusable liners that you can use and then wash. There are also pants that you can wear that soak everything up. I haven't used them myself yet. They seem a little bit like witchcraft to me, but I've heard some very good things. So yeah, there's so many options out there now. If something's got disposable in the title, just be wary. Next thing is a bamboo toothbrush instead of a plastic toothbrush. And I've got my stats here. So a plastic toothbrush takes up to 1,000 years to decompose, and it's estimated that 3.6 billion plastic toothbrushes are used every year worldwide, and an estimated 80% of that 3.6 billion end up in the sea. So it's a problem. It's a really, really big problem. Bamboo toothbrushes are a really good way of not contributing as much to this waste, and I say not as much because the bristles are still made of nylon. There aren't any biodegradable vegan options for bristles, because the only bristles that can be used are made of pig and badger hair, and obviously then that wouldn't be vegan, and it's also not that hygienic because then they're going to be slightly porous. So this is sort of the best option we have thus far. I'm going to link a video in the card and in the description of how you're meant to dispose of these. Essentially you're meant to chop off the head of the toothbrush, and then this can go in your general recycling, whereas this goes into your bin. But in terms of, you know, like the proportion of the toothbrush that is recyclable, so much better than a plastic one. The next incredibly eco-friendly swap is to use tote bags instead of plastic bags, and this requires a little bit more foresight. It took a little while for us to get used to. I think there was a few times we would think we'd just pop into the shops on the way home from somewhere and we didn't have any bags, so we'd have to think, oh, we'll have to just do it another time. But then we soon got in the habit of thinking, oh, we might want to pop into Asda on the way home, so let's make sure we bring the bags. And then now it's kind of habit. I say it's kind of habit. Charles remembers, and I just live my life. So get yourself someone else who remembers if you can't remember yourself. My next one is to carry around Tupperware. Now I realise I have a whole bunch of these here. You only really need one. But I find this really useful. If ever you think you're going to be in a situation where you might get offered a disposable plate or disposable cutlery, make sure you bring your own. Not only because it's going to be good that you aren't using that disposable plastic, because usually it's polystyrene. Polystyrene is one of the worst plastics that you can use, but also because it sort of makes a statement, like in a really non-aggressive way. It just sort of says, I care, maybe you should care too, but in like a nice way. Obviously you don't have to be forcing it down people's throats and really showing off that you've got your Tupperware, but it's just a sort of polite reminder. So disposable plastic as a concept I disagree with. In terms of reusable plastic in this kind of scenario, it's really light in my bag, so I don't actually notice that it's there, and quite often I don't eat all of my food, and so it's very useful to be able to take it home, put it in the fridge, forget that I've done that, open the fridge again and be like, oh my god, I forgot that I had this delicious cake, for example, and that's always a nice surprise. So to not carry around Tupperware is to deny yourself that surprise, and who wants that? Same applies for cutlery and straws. The next swap you could make is, if ever you are considering buying something new, to consider instead buying something secondhand. Things like clothes and furniture, you can find some really, really good deals. You'll save money and you'll also not be contributing to the production of new things. I have no evidence to back this up, but I'm pretty confident that currently in the world exists enough furniture and clothes for most people to have furniture and clothes. I don't think we need to be constantly producing new things, and I know that old things wear out and get broken, but at the rate that we're producing things currently, it's all based on this idea that new equals good, and new doesn't always equal good. It can equal good, but it doesn't always equal good. Good quality things, yes, definitely. And quite often you'll find that things that have lasted the course of a few years are going to be better quality than things that are just freshly produced on some sort of like disposable cycle, like clothes with the new seasons. Things aren't built to last anymore, whereas they used to be once upon a time. So websites like Gumtree and eBay and Craigslist if you're in America, FreeCycle, these kind of websites, these are really good for getting your hands on some secondhand things that are going to save you money and also stop contributing to the production of new things. Next, really easy eco-friendly swap that you can make is if ever there is something that you buy that doesn't go off, buy it in bulk. So we buy shampoo in these massive bottles here. These are 50 litres. And one bottle, according to the reviews on the website, lasts about a year. So I think this was about just less than £45, and you get absolutely loads of it. And this particular one, this is Faith in Nature. It's vegan, it's cruelty-free, and it smells like heaven, which is quite the trinity in my book. But ultimately, if you buy the bigger size of something, you are going to be buying less plastic. And also it means that you're not going to be making more frequent visits to actually go and pick something up or have it delivered if you're buying smaller things. I did try no poo for a while, and I did come up with a few things that worked, but only for a short amount of time, and then things got greasy quite quickly again. But also I found that when I went no poo, I was, in terms of low waste, I was buying a lot of stuff because there was lots of trial and buying things that weren't working for me, buying things that I had to combine together, and I ended up with just loads and loads of products, loads of bits of stuff, you know, Castile soap, this and this essential oil and blah, 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 that didn't seem sustainable for me. So I went back to shampoo, and this is sort of my way of getting around the slightly excessive plastic waste. I know it's not perfect, but it's better than what I was doing before anyway. And my final point is, instead of using disposable kitchen towels, just use regular cloth kitchen towels. We haven't bought any kitchen towels for about like 7 years, I think, just because we didn't see it financially making sense. Like the idea of spending money on something to just put it in the bin seemed to not make, it wasn't logical. It didn't make sense to us. Essentially, I guess the takeaway message is anything that is disposable, think, is there another option? Is there something else that I could use that I don't then just put in the bin? Because the likelihood is there will be something. I hope that was useful anyway. I'm gonna go now because I'm slowly going blind in this eye. I look like a vampire. I like that. My eyes, they look red. Ooh. What does a vampire sound like? No, I was about to hiss. That's not it. Oh no, they do hiss because like with the sunlight, they do hiss. There we go. What else do they do? I don't know. Anyway, this isn't a video about vampires. I don't know why I got off this topic. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you are having a lovely day, and I will see you later. Goodbye. Oh, I've got cramp in my foot.
Friend, your position, heartfelt, social condition, not bad, but I have it any other way. Day and night, it's not the same as being wrong, right? There is surely grace, but sometimes Sunday.